What's up, everybody? It's your boy K Smooth coming to you live. And if you're having a hard time getting rid of that friend that's just clung to you, then Gamoline is for you.
Now presenting Protein Farts Podcast, featuring Rick and Corey from NutriShop. Come on.
Protein farts, da-da-da, protein farts, da-da.
Play the keyboard right there. Like,
boom, protein farts. Make it hot, hot, hot mic.
if you're hot while you're doing protein farts,
Woo!
you need some wipes.
If you're not,
wipes.
If you're not on the toilet when we're breaking this podcast down, you ain't really living that life.
Not at all. What's up, Smooth?
What up, man?
Nada.
Uncle Rick, you good?
I'm good. Who's sponsoring the show today?
Shout out to the team.
Oh, team first.
Shout out to the team. Got to give the
Team
team some
time.
love. Okay. Shout out to Sack Man. He's
Sack
right
Man,
there.
he's the
You
man.
can't see him. He's behind the scenes, but I see all of him.
Producing and directing.
He doesn't do this show naked, I promise.
No.
He wears clothes.
He does.
Shout out to producing team. Okay. In the Works Media. We love you guys for all that you do for us.
Behind the camera.
Coming here, slaving away like a hot mic. Hot mic. Boys behind the camera.
Ooh.
Love y'all. Ooh, today's podcast is brought to you by Gamoline. Fat's not your friend, so let's lean out together. Bing!
Do this.
Topic of the day, people.
What are we doing?
We were going to, here's the thing. We were going to go into sports
Sports.
because football's coming up. I'm excited. Football starts this Sunday.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
Cowboys a Sunday night game.
no fans there, but hey, we'll make the most of it.
All right.
Actually, they might trickle it in. We'll
will.
see. We'll
We've
see
heard
at
about
some
that.
point. Come on. We got to make some money, right?
Not making money.
Got to pay them players.
Absolutely.
But we're going to talk about something a little bit
Let's
different.
talk a little bit something.
Okay. We have a lot going on right now, especially in California.
Yes.
All up the coastline. It seems like they were actually talking about it might be some of the worst or the most acres burned
In history.
in California.
Yeah.
So, topic for the day. Danger is real. Fear, a little bit of a choice, don't you think?
A lot.
Let's elaborate on that.
Let's talk. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Obviously, with a pandemic that we've been living through. So, that's put some fear in people. Valid. Okay. Fear is valid, like you said. What's going on politically? There's a lot of fear being put out there with regards to politics, which we're not going to jump into.
No.
A lot of social injustice that has been going on and continues to go on, and we're trying to combat that as a society, which is, again, very, very real. And now these fires. Again, like Corey said, you look outside our window right now, and it looks like we're living on Mars. It's red out there. It's very ominous. Ash is there. It's snowing ash. So that fear we actually experience on a daily, and it's funny, in the store, people are very driven by that. If it's too hot, they don't come in. If it's too cold or rainy, they don't come in. If it's raining ash, they don't come in.
It's got to be the right temp, right? Yeah. It's got to be just
right
for us.
environment.
Right environment. And it's funny because come to think of it now, we like to be masters of our universe. We're control freaks.
Yes, we are.
Right? So if we can't control the environment, if it's not comfortable, what's the classic term? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, sometimes as a society, and different aspects, like I said, you rattled off a few of them, we don't know how to combat adversity.
No.
We really don't.
Well, that's unfortunately the participation society that we live in.
Yeah.
Growing up, I'm a proud 50-year-old. So it's as simple as when
50 years young, people.
tried out
Let
for
that beard
Little
fool
League.
you.
Exactly. I had to try out for Little League. Well, now it's an evaluation, and even in that simple change of verbiage, it changes the mindset of something. Because typically, when you try out, well, there's an opportunity that you don't make it. Well, if you're getting evaluated, now it's just someone's opinion on something, and not much else really happens. There's no consequence to that.
No, it seems to be widespread now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll throw my age out there. I'm 35.
15 years younger.
And I think around the time I noticed the most was around I think when I got out of high school into college, I started to notice that more from the youth up, from the little league, and we'll use sports as an analogy. We started seeing more things being handed out to everybody. You know, everyone was getting a certificate for this, a trophy for that.
Yeah.
If little Johnny or little Susie didn't get anything, we saw a lot of parents, hopefully you're not one of them, storming up to the managers of the team, the general managers of the league, and presidents of the league, and just having fits. And you have to ask yourself, isn't it okay that your child went through a little bit of adversity? I mean, isn't a little adversity kind of healthy for our society? Once again, the danger of what's going on right now is real, but the fear and anxiety sometimes, and I understand anxiety can be a touchy subject, so we won't go too far into that, but the fear can sometimes be a choice. And I think we can choose. There's a fork in the road every day we enter life. You know, you're either going to eat, using what we do in our business, you're either going to eat that cheeseburger or you're going to have that brown rice, broccoli, and chicken.
Right.
Okay. You made a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing was taking hold of you.
No.
Okay. To say, I need to really have that cheeseburger. You made the choice for whatever reason.
Well, and if they really were being held by that force, I think they would tend to eat a little cleaner, because that's what all social media is talking about.
Right.
Is the clean eating, fitness, look this way, Fitspo. So it really is the choice, and it's okay to make those choices. But like Corey said, this fear and anxiety can absolutely be controlled. Okay, and we're not going to get into super spiritual part of this, because we're going to talk a little bit more practical application, because we don't know anyone's spirituality or faith-basedness. But making those conscious decisions every day, every moment, on how you're going to allow these situations to affect you, because they will affect you. They will affect you mentally, psychologically, physically, relationally, emotionally, at work. All those things are going to affect you. But how you allow them to affect you, for how long you allow them to affect you, is really the decision you have to make, because it will control you, it will dominate you, and ultimately it could destroy whatever's happening. So it being a choice, there's choices that need to be made. It's pretty simple.
Agree. And I think we have, you brought up a really good point. We have all the tools to make the right decisions a lot of times. I think I just want to think that we choose not to make the right decision, because sometimes it's still just the easy way out.
Making the decision or not making the decision?
No, not having to make not having to make the right decision
is the easy way out.
Is the easy way out.
Why?
A lot of times. Well, I'll just use an example of like I said, once again, I'll go into what we do for our business. And what we do here, I set you up with a great meal plan. Okay. It's hard work. It gets a little boring. It gets a little tedious.
Yeah.
And just kind of eating the same thing over and over again. And it just becomes hard. It's a hard thing to do every single day. Once again, working out is fun. We love to burn calories. Yeah. We love to get out and get active. Eating the same thing every single day, and still mixing it up a little bit, but eating clean, eating a little healthier, that becomes hard after a while. It's hard, like you said, emotionally, mentally, and therefore it actually becomes an easier decision to not have to do it.
Totally. And that discipline, because again, society, the second half of what's happening right now is that there's less consequences. Okay? There are much less consequences today, even though people think there's higher consequences, there's actually much less consequences, because again, it's accepted. It's okay if you fail right now. Okay?
There's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow.
There's always the next week. There's always the next month. It's just this season. Fall's coming up, Corey. It's okay. Winter's coming soon.
I'll start Monday.
That's our classic one.
That's the classic.
I'll just start Monday. Starting over again. You were here last week. What happened in 6 days? You know? I mean, we've heard it all. It's just easier for them to say, I'll just start next week.
Right. And the unfortunate part is, if you live in that world, it translates to everything. Okay? Could you tell your boss, I'll just start Monday on this project that was due Friday? No. I mean, why don't you give yourself that same type of value? Because it's very important to stay on task, because being on task will actually cause less stress and anxiety, which will cause less fear. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're not interrupting me.
All right. Dedication. desire, determination. I sometimes put those on.
DDD?
Yeah, triple D.
Treble
Okay,
days. Oh,
and the reality is, if you
sorry.
pause, the reality is those end up being. If you're not taking care of those three things, you probably don't have any consistency.
No.
You know, and therefore you have no accountability either. Now, it's funny. We always talk about letting people, hey, let us be your accountability partners when it comes to this. But it's easy not to have us, right? Because you don't want that accountability.
Just you don't show up.
Just don't show up. But if all you have to do, if the hard part is just driving here, good. Let's take the road. You know, too many people, you know, what's the classic quote? Take the road less traveled. You know, too many of you are going on the road that's just beaten down. And that road basically leads to people who don't have any desire, don't have any dedication, don't have any determination, and it falls off a cliff at some point. Okay? So you can either choose to go the road less traveled, where it kind of leads to some glory for yourself, personal glory, humble yourself in that aspect, because it's hard to humble ourselves once again, but it's easy to make the wrong decision a lot of times.
Because like you said, it's easy. And that will lead down to this path of fear. And like we said earlier, there's a lot of fearful things that are legitimate, but that stress and anxiety, you don't have to live there.
Yeah.
And there's many coping mechanisms and real mechanisms that you can find help with. But it all starts with you. You have to make a decision. A lot of people like to live in that fear. They like it, and I don't understand it, because they come in here saying that they don't want to be fearful of something, but yet they're deciding to not make any changes.
Yeah.
And like you said, that is actually a road of destruction. So no matter what you want to do in life, you have to make those positive choices so you can actually have a positive outcome.
Yeah, fear at some point, when you let it grip you too much, I would say, kind of becomes like death by 1,000 cuts. At some point, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to be so gripped by it, you really have a hard time making decisions. And that's actually one of the things we've used this term in here. We have a lot of customers that come in and they don't really know, they can't really make a decision. We call it information paralysis actually. Yeah. You coined that term actually a long time ago. And it's when you've soaked up so much information that you're actually gripped by kind of, I would say, mental fear. You know, and a lot of what we do in here is mental and emotional. And once again, we'll tug on those strings a little bit, because sometimes that's the only way for you guys to make a correct decision. You're driven by how you feel here and how you feel here, those 18 inches. But if you can't get those in sync a little bit, it's just going to be tougher for you. But you have to let go of the aspect of, look, we understand the dangers of jumping into something new, a new meal plan, a new product, a new workout regime. But at the same time, the fear is still a choice. You can still have the wherewithal to make the right one.
Yeah.
You know, the road less traveled, guys.
I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's if you surround yourself with those resources, if you put the right people in your life, if you put the right processes in your life, it will be much less, like we said. So guys, we implore you to make those better decisions. If you can't make those decisions, you need to seek help in it. And if you're not loving yourself, then you're not going to be able to be successful, and you're not going to be able to love anyone else. So put yourself first. If you need to fix something, fix yourself for you. Don't fix yourself for a situation, a job, or anything like that, because it's not going to necessarily be fixed. You got to fix the situation for you. Get rid of that fear. Get rid of that anxiety. Make better and different choices, because if your choices are staying there, it doesn't matter. You're just going to continue going in this circle, I did something earlier today for some of my coaching clients, and it was a simple quote. I said, if the map you're using right now continues to take you to the same dead end, look at a different map.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple. So if you don't like where you're ending up, why do you continue to go there? And
definition of insanity,
it's
right?
Insanity, but I don't get it, because you hate being there. You despise being there. It's painful. It's all these different things. Make the damn change.
I think the term, we're using a lot of quotes today. Misery, quotes. Misery does love company.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we can be so miserable that it's almost like when you come, we have some people that come in here and they've been at 14% for a really long time. What I always tell them is that you've been living in mediocrity. I know it sounds kind of harsh, but it's the truth. And what I mean by that is sometimes you're 15, sometimes you're 13, but you're always 14.
Yeah.
You're always 14 if that's the case, and you've made no progress. And sometimes to make progress in life, you have to get out of your comfort zone. But once again, when you're miserable, sometimes as far as just emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, monetarily, anything, guys, unfortunately, sometimes you get it gets so comforting to live in that because you're always correct. You're always right. I'm like, I knew it'd be bad. I knew this was going to happen. You enjoy it at some point. Are we sadists?
And that's sick and twisted,
Yeah.
but you obviously do enjoy it because you stay there.
Yeah.
Don't lie
Becomes
to
your
yourself.
norm.
Yeah, don't
Becomes your
lie
norm.
to yourself.
Yeah.
If you're staying there, you enjoy it. And that's just a fact.
Yeah.
So if you claim to not enjoy it, then make some different choices. But at least be honest with yourself, because if you're staying there, it's great.
Yeah, right?
That's sick to hear.
It's sickeningly comforting.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You have to do something different if you don't like it. So again, this fear, anxiety, all these negative, ugly things that society is throwing at you, guess what? You have the ability to not do it. Quit looking at this thing. Okay? This thing here is the death of everyone. Stop watching the news. Get rid of those friends. Don't hang out with those people. Again, part of misery-loving company, if you want to be positive, then surround yourself with positive people.
Or positive things, too.
Or positive things. If I want to be the best Laker on the court, I went to go hang out with Kobe. I didn't hang out with Mattson at the end of the bench, who never had a uniform on, okay, and just had his warm-ups. If you want to be the best, you got to surround yourself with the best. Same thing at a gym. What personal trainer are you going to go try to get? You're not going to get the person who doesn't look like the person you want to be. It's pretty simple.
Speaking of the Lakers real quick, obviously shout out to the Lake Show, baby.
Lake Show.
Hopefully get into that Western Conference Finals sooner than later.
Have to.
Take out those Clippers.
That's right.
There's a funny story I read in one of Magic's books back in the day. Magic Johnson had a really good, I can't remember which one it was called. He had a few.
It was that good that he don't remember.
That good, I don't remember. I don't know if that's a good thing. And he talked about how when he became a coach for a while, that he tried to meet up with some of the players, not to be mentioned. We don't want to throw those guys, out on the bus. Nick Van Exel, Anthony Peeler. But some of those guys, Magic's like, hey, you know what? Let's meet up early. This is their head coach at the time.
Yeah.
Let's meet up early. Let's get some shots. Let's go over some things. These were guys. Magic being the best floor general ever to ever live, and at the same time wanting to get these guys better. He couldn't understand why these guys weren't showing up, and sometimes showing up late. The desire wasn't there. No. Didn't matter. Got complacent. They had arrived, made it. I'm just going to do the bare minimum.
Got money.
And what's the Hitman Hearns or Marvelous Marvin Hagler said it's hard to wake up and train with with satin sheets or something like that. I don't know. With satin pajamas, whatever. Once you get comfortable, okay, you get complacent. It just happens.
It's easy.
It happens in life. It happens in business. It happens in family. It happens in love a lot of times. And unfortunately, you have to create a different stimuli. And I think it's important to reset if you have to. We had a young lady here come in today. She said she just took a vacation, just needed to reset.
Right.
And we told her that's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to change things up a little bit. And once again, we're always here to help you out with that. We actually enjoy that because it's different stimuli for us.
Yeah, it's not just
the monotony.
The monotony of everything. We love talking to all you guys in all these different places. So again, stop living in the fear if you don't want to be fearful. Stop being sad, anxiety-ridden if you don't like what that yields in your life. And if you need to change certain things in your life, make the changes. That's it. It's a simple philosophy. It's a simple concept. Just do what you need to do for you.
I like it. And lastly, obviously, guys, we just want you guys to make the best decision for you. I mean, once again, our road is not necessarily telling you what to do, but finding out what's best for you. Okay. And, we're not going to sit here and beat you down with with bats all the time and just come at you. But if you need that, that's fine. That's maybe what some of you guys, need to hear from us a little bit more realness from us. At the same time, we love you guys. We care about you. We care about our NutriShop family. We care about our Protein Farts family, of course, too, as well. Excuse me. And so naturally, we want to make sure you guys are doing the best for yourselves. And at the same time, part of that goes back to what Uncle Ricky said. You need to love yourself first, and you need to love yourself enough to commit to the program, and sometimes commit to change a little bit, and sometimes commit to the fact that we understand things can be a little harsh in reality a little bit, but we still have a choice to do the right thing. Okay?
Remove your negativity.
100%.
Because it ain't helping you.
Absolutely not.
How's the clock look? Good?
Looking good.
All right,
We're
let's
always
get
on
lean.
time. Protein Farts. Check us out.
Out.
Spotify, YouTube. We're everywhere, aren't we? We're worldwide, baby.
Spotify.
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Wide.
Global.
We'll see you guys soon.